KHTS.
It's time for the Business of Life with Coach Ron Tunick and Jim Piccirillo.
I think the number one show, turn my thing up a little bit. I think the number one show in the United States for years was Seinfeld, which was a show about nothing, made people laugh. It took them out of the reality. I think that's what we try to do every week, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a tough year, tough week for a lot of people, and we're going to get into it a little bit later. But if you're listening to our show, we're going to try to put a smile on your face today. We're the number one show in Ukraine, and we have our research team right now working on where the Ukraine is.
Right. We're not quite sure where it is, but we know we're number one.
Yeah, we know we're number one. All right, the show's called The Business of Life. Jim Piccirillo and the coach and I, 20 years doing the show. Number one show heard all over the country. Not sure which country.
Yeah, any country. Pick one.
We'll pick a country. Can I get into something that's I've caught – I'm going to admit to you that I've been eating in fast food restaurants lately.
Right.
Have you noticed?
A little bit, and I'm surprised because you've lost so much weight and you look so good, man. Like, you still have that habit, you know. I don't get it.
So I was at Wendy's yesterday, but front page of USA Today, more are eating on the run. Cost-conscious diners are flocking to fast food restaurants instead of sitting down. Companies like Shack Shake. Have you ever been in a Shack Shake? Shack
I
Shake.
have.
Have you really?
Yep.
I don't think they're in California.
There's one on Santa Monica Boulevard just opened.
Okay.
There's, I've eaten at them in New York several times.
Is it a sit-down?
People line up to get these burgers. It's crazy. They line up out the door for 2 blocks to get a burger.
Is it a sit-down restaurant?
Well, you can sit down once you get your burger.
I'm one of these people that never stand in line for anything. If I have to stand in line, I'm out of there. I don't care how good the food is.
Right.
And then they talk about
but a lot of the appeal is just that. You know, I can't get in there. If I can't get in there, I want to get in there, you know?
It's like our radio show.
Yeah. And standing room only.
Yeah.
And if we should hire some people just to stand out in line and people go, what the hell's going on?
We had it last week. Yeah. Big shout out to our president and vice president of our fan club, Victoria and Carla. They're in their car.
Doing a great job.
Probably eating, I'm guessing, fast food restaurants while they listen to our show. Probably.
They're busy.
Also, I heard, Cody, the commercial on the Bow Wow dog show Sunday. I'm going to it. I'll be there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jim and I'll be there. I'm hoping Jimmy shows up.
I will not be there.
Okay, fine. I'll be there.
Actually, I have a life, Coach. Weekends are packed, man.
Your whole life is packed.
You won't catch me at Bow Wow's.
You're the only one I know that I send you a text at 8 in the morning, and at 10:30 when you get up, you return the text. God forbid you should return a phone call.
Well, if you know my schedule, why are you texting me at 8 o'clock?
That's a good point.
My day starts at 10 o'clock.
Do you have a dog?
I do not.
I don't either.
No.
I had a dog. I lost it, got hit by a car. I love animals. Yeah. I love dogs. I would love to have a dog.
It's a lot of responsibility.
I don't care.
Are you old enough to take care of a dog?
Yeah, I think I am.
It's a lot of responsibility.
The whole thing for me, here's Ellen, you know my beautiful wife Ellen.
I do.
She won't allow us to get a dog because we have this pristine backyard with grass that's, she was out there this morning trimming it like this.
With scissors. Oh, my God.
With scissors. I married a how do you say it, horticulturalist?
Horticulturist.
How do you say it, horticulture?
You better be careful how you say it, but yes.
I
don't even want you to spell it, but much less say it.
I can't say it.
You better pick another name.
I can't say it.
She's a proud gardener. How about that?
The show's called The Business of Life. You don't have to listen to it. We have some people that have to listen to it, but you don't have to listen to it. Our show's on KHTS, 1220 a.m. Also on hometownstation.com. I think that's where our fan club listens to the show, in their offices, on their computer. Best radio app in the country. Download the app. It's in the App Store.
Right.
And just go into
that's the cool thing. They can listen. They don't have to be in their office or their home. They can listen on the go.
I listened to the Friday Night Football the other night. Can you believe that? The high school football on Friday night. Back to more eating on the run. So people don't want to sit down and take an hour and a half to go into a restaurant. Isn't that crazy?
It keeps them from their texting and their emailing, man. Who's got time to sit down and eat?
You read the article because that's
old news. I've heard that story over and over. I'm like, really? We realize as a nation, as a country, as a society, we are a fast food nation. Just look at us.
I'm getting you worked up for your. I'm getting you worked up for what's bugging you.
Oh man, you know what's bugging me.
I can tell.
You know what's bugging
I can
me.
tell locomotive.
We just had lunch. You know exactly
Yeah,
what's bugging
no,
me.
and if I just got to get you warmed up.
Get your motor running.
You know, we take phone calls and we charge you for the calls, $500 a call. I mean, that's how we pay our rent, right?
Yep.
But we'll waive the call-in fee.
Oh, wait a
today.
minute. We're paying rent. This show pays our rent?
No.
Oh.
We're going to waive the call-in fee.
Oh, they charge us rent.
Yeah, but I'm saying we're going to waive the call-in fee.
That's very nice.
$298-5487.
Very big of you.
Don't call unless you really have something to say important.
That's right.
Very important. 298-5487. Okay, we don't do politics on this show, so I'm going to skip over that article. So it doesn't surprise you that people want to eat in fast food restaurants. Okay?
Not at all.
Not at all. Okay, here's the next thing that's very interesting. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Okay.
GM, General Motors, and I drive a General Motors car. You don't. I do. I drive an American-made car. You don't. I do. GM plans to switch to electric vehicles. All their plants, Jimmy Piccolo, are going to be electric cars.
What's wrong with that?
You're a car collector. You're also a car broker.
Yep.
You're a car aficionado.
All of those.
So I was thinking about you this morning. This is going to cause a tremendous amount of – you got in the right business, right time. This is going to cause a tremendous amount of demand for the type of cars that you offer the public.
That's true. You know, the classic cars, the vintage cars are going to be exactly that, very rare and very vintage.
More
but,
valuable.
You know, as we move on, all of those will be phased out. There's just no way that they can stay around. You know, I drove a Tesla this week, and I got to tell you, I've kind of always been the one that not quite ready to go to the electric route, even though my wife has an electric car. But I drove a Tesla.
Where did you test drive this?
A buddy of mine bought one.
Okay.
And he said, "Hey, just jump in and take it for a ride."
Okay.
I have never seen acceleration like that on any car that I've ever been in.
More than your M? Better than your M?
Oh God, yeah. It'll leave my M just sitting in the dust. But
that scared me. I took a ride in your M, and I said, "Jim, please take me back to the office."
It's crazy.
You actually scared me.
But if we're going to San Francisco, I'll just keep going by him as he stops to charge.
See,
but it's little things like that they need to figure out. But they're getting there. That Tesla has 300-mile range.
Okay, so that is going to prevent me until they figure that out. I'm not buying an electric car. I'm not going to. I have friends like you do that own them. They have to stop for 35 to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then what happens when you stop and there's three people waiting? Now your 35 or 40 minutes turns.
They have a big app, and you press on the app, and it tells you how many stalls are available for you to. If there's 24 stalls and 12 are taken. But the thing about that is, if they're all taken, it'll take you to another one out of your way. Which who wants to go out of their way to go charge their car?
Jim, I'm on Highway 5. There's 3 stalls on Highway 5. In the studio, where's our audience thing?
Well, I was going to tell you one more thing though about the Tesla, which is really cool. My buddy has a house in Kingman, Arizona, and he drives every weekend back and forth. He put it on autopilot this weekend and let it drive him across I-10. He said, "I'm texting, I'm emailing, I'm doing all the stuff." And I said, "Boy, you have a lot of trust in a car to let it do that." So we are moments away from self-driving cars.
And that part, I like driving, and you do too. We both talked about this about a month ago. We both like driving a car. In the studio today, I've been remiss not to introduce her. You'll never hear her voice today unless
she's giving you stink eye right now.
She gives us $20. Tracy Eck.
That'll make up for the cream you bought from her.
I'm a Mary Kay guy.
Yeah.
I'm a Mary Kay user. I put this. It's now called a green goop, but I put it under. How do you look as good as I do? And I give all the credit to Mary Kay. And Tracy Eck is my rep. Wow. Tracy Eck, ECK.
ECK.
Never heard of a three-letter name.
I'm excited to meet her.
She's here, right in the studio.
Exactly.
No, seriously, have you ever heard of a 3-letter name? Think of one 3-letter name.
Cho.
Margaret Cho. Show's called The Business
You said
Life.
Think of one.
Nice job. No, you did a good job on that. All right, so I think I'm ready for an electric car when I can go 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
No,
that'll be a while. I mean, they're at 300 now. That's pretty good.
John's in Oregon, and I go to Oregon, back and forth to Oregon. That's like 1,200 miles.
Well, my buddy's in Florida. I don't expect to drive straight through to Florida. I mean, sometime you got to stop and do something, but they'll be there.
So what are we, 7-8 years out probably?
No. You kidding? Look how fast it's all come in the last couple of years.
What's going to happen to our friends that sell us horrendous oil and gas at incredible prices.
Our friends.
Well,
They've spent 20 years developing new technology to pad their pockets in other ways.
I'm going to be politically correct today. I'm going to be the nice guy today because I'm warming you up to go crazy here in about a minute. And it's a cheap plug because listen to the first break, because when we come back from the first break, Jim Piccirillo is really, really bugged about something. He let me have it at lunch. I didn't respond. I may not respond when he lets go because I don't know how to respond to what's bugging him. And if you know how to respond, 298-5487, 298-5487. But don't call and don't respond unless you're sober.
Hey, I'm not the only one. I think we're all upset.
We're all
upset. You have to have your head in the sand not to be upset this week.
Here's the thing we said I'm not going to do a thing on what's bugging me, but I am for 30 seconds.
Well, it's your show, so you
you
have the right to do whatever you want.
50% of my show. It's your show, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have 50%. It's Jim Piccirillo and the coach.
I share profits 50% on this show.
You do.
Sweet.
Yeah. So
what'd my net worth just go up to? Minus what?
It's up 50
How much I owe you when I leave here today? Are you fleecing me again?
I bought you lunch, man.
Yeah, you buy me lunch a lot.
I do. Thank you.
Of course, you take all of our golf money. You should.
How does cell service... So the idea of having a cell phone, going back when you and I originally bought cell phones, was for emergencies. Remember, I mean, cell phones were basically for emergency.
I bought mine to show off with. I got to be honest. I got one of my.
Did you own the brick? I had the brick.
I had the big brick in the car with the antenna on the back. Man, I'd be cruising down Hollywood Boulevard, holding that thing up real high so everybody could see it.
I was so proud of my brick too, but. Prior to the brick, and you probably didn't do this because you're too young.
I bought mine at Muntz.
I had a
Madman Muntz. You remember that guy?
Yeah. No, I bought mine from a guy that owned an electric store in Thousand Oaks. Electric gadgets back then, which weren't many. Anyway, I had a CB radio with an antenna. Did you ever have a CB radio?
Breaker, good buddy.
Yeah. No, I was the One Easy Money. What was your handle name?
One No Money. One wishing I had some money.
Yeah. The show's not about anything, and it may not even be interesting to you, but keep listening because here in about 10 minutes, you're going to hear...
quit setting it up. Quit making it bigger than it is.
Come on. It's big. It's big.
We should have led with it.
No.
You're afraid. You won't even lead with topical issues.
I am afraid.
Yeah, you bury it.
I buried
By
it
the time,
on page 18.
Everybody's halfway through their sandwich and folding up the paper to go home.
Victoria and Carla will never leave us. They'll be here forever. Okay, no cell service available in Puerto Rico. Jim, how do the cell phone towers, when we need them the most? You lived here during the earthquake. Did the cell phone towers work? No.
I don't know, but I feel bad. They can't read the president's tweets without any cell phone service. How are they going to?
I thought we had a.
How are they going to figure out how he's insulting them this week?
I thought we had a kill button. When he starts, kill his stuff when he starts in on our president. Although, in about 10 minutes, he's going to...
Did you see his news conference today from Puerto Rico? Please, come on.
What was it like?
Horrible.
Why don't you start? What was?
No.
I
don't want to get off on that. I could care less about that right now. He's,
okay.
You know how I feel about him.
But you don't care about cell phone coverage?
I don't. I mean,
What do you care about? Well, we're going to hear what you care about.
Cell phone coverage is controlled. Here's a quick story for you. They were building a tower in my neighborhood 2 years ago, and it was really close to an elementary school. And my wife comes in and goes, "There is no way they're building this tower, and we've got to do something. And don't you care?" And I'm like, I really don't. But once I realized we could fight the man on this issue, we banded together. My neighborhood got together. We go over to City Hall. We fight City Hall. We fight for 2 or 3 months, and we win an order to get this cell phone tower moved. We thought, hey, man, we're cool. We beat these guys at their own game. What do? They cut our entire cell service to my street. I cannot make a phone call out of there. Still. They totally.
Are you serious?
They took our power down to nothing. So
that's why when I text you,
you know where they put the tower? They put it on top of California Pizza Kitchen.
On the roof?
On the roof. Instead of the.
It's roof.
Roof, whatever.
So time out.
From West Virginia.
You have no Logantown.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they always have the ability.
No, you have no cell coverage? So that's why when I call you don't respond.
That's it.
Does Brenda have cell phone?
Could be call screening, but we do have call screening.
Does Brenda have cell coverage?
Very little. They've punished us.
That's serious.
Punished us
have you gone to the city about this?
The city can't get involved. It really has nothing to do directly with them.
Whoa. Stop. God forbid there was an emergency in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And you can't get out. You don't think that's an issue?
We can get out enough. I'm just saying we don't have the kind of service we used to have, in my opinion. And I do think it's from our group effort to move this cell phone tower from this big organization.
And you were the one that stood up in front.
We did, man. We go in there, they bring in 80 lawyers from Kansas City in dark blue suits, and we come in our loafers and T-shirts, and they laughed at us. They really did. I went back and I made a video. I made one of those, the video, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? We made a spoof of that, made a bitch and PowerPoint presentation, and blew these guys away at their own game. So... and convince people as to why this thing should not go in next to an elementary school. So, in a way, it was a victory.
Congratulations. That was Jim Picarillo's show.
Has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Like I said, I don't even care about the cell phone coverage.
No, the point. You never let me get to my point.
You asked me a question, and I rambled for a while. Sorry.
Okay.
What was your point?
So a satellite phone is actually more practical than a cell phone. Satellite phone works because of the satellites up in the sky.
Well, so what? We got to carry satellite phones
I want to
now?
get a satellite phone. That's what. Where can I get a satellite phone?
Cody,
can you get Tracy on this?
Best Buy?
Can Tracy research this?
Where's our staff? Where's our research staff?
Our staff's sitting right here.
Come on, our crack staff.
Tracy Eck with my favorite company, Mary Kay. Jim, back in the day, I interviewed the president of Mary Kay, I think 4 times. She was so gracious.
What was her name?
This is
Mary
like
Kay.
12 years ago. No. Mary Kay was the founder.
Oh, really?
She's passed on. But
is that like Avon? What is that? It's like I see these pink cars every now and then, and that's...
Don't be condescending.
I'm asking a question. I don't know what it is.
Mary Kay has top-notch cosmetics.
Ooh,
and if
she just shot me a look. Holy cow.
Tracy did? No, you have Avon.
Avon. Is that even around anymore?
Yeah.
Who buys that? Anybody?
Brenda probably does.
You, please.
No.
Really?
Avon used to come to your front door. Oh, there it is.
Hear you
that's what I need. Okay, how much is that?
$760.
And where do I get that?
Walmart, free shipping.
Walmart? Are you serious?
It'll be on your door tomorrow.
Free shipping.
I'll get a drone to bring it over to your house.
That's what's next.
A self-driving car will bring it right to your door.
No, but you laugh, Mr. Picarillo, but having a satellite phone is
that's a good idea.
I'm going to get one. Should I?
Guys that go out on deep-sea fishing expeditions, like my buddy who's got a lot of money.
Can you print that out?
He has one of those because when he's out at sea, he can't, obviously.
Are you teasing me or he has one?
No, I'm serious.
He has a satellite phone?
He has a sat phone.
Maybe I'll buy you one as a gift. When's your birthday?
We just passed, remember? The big party up at the...
Oh, I went to it. That's right.
Boy, you must have got blitzed. You can't even remember. It was like a month ago.
You're 60. You ran out the entire country club. That was one of the greatest nights of my life.
That was a great party.
Was it a great night of your life?
It was.
Okay. What else do we want to talk about before you come on? Oh, let's give you
2 minutes.
Yeah,
2 minutes. 2 minute warning.
So our producer's a 25-year-old young man. I really don't think you're 25. That's fine. It's none of my business, unless you show me your driver's license. You tell your mother you're going off to high school, and then you sneak over to the station and do the show. I love that.
Of course.
So your mother thinks where'd you go to high school? Hart, Valencia?
I went to West Ranch.
Oh, West Ranch. So does your mother still think you're there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you're a millennial. What, in your best voice, do you want to talk about today? The Millennial Minute.
Well, I guess today the biggest thing I probably want to talk about is just the way that millennials in general, we tend to be really focused on what's in front of us and absolutely have no focus on anything that happened days ago. I mean, I'm 25, but I am old enough to remember Hurricane Harvey, which happened, I believe, last week or the week before.
2 weeks ago.
And same thing, I remember it was one, I believe, in Florida as well. So I just like millennials.
Irma.
There we go. In general, us millennials tend to just kind of, once the next thing happens, that's it. We don't even remember that there was a yesterday.
That's honest. I think that's a really honest assessment. What was the name of the hurricane that hit Puerto Rico that really was the second blow? Do you remember that name? Remember that name?
I don't. Like I said, I'm one of them. But
Maria. How'd you know? That's
Maria.
good, Picarillo. Yeah, that's good. But don't you think his assessment of a millennial is spot on?
It is. He's a millennial. He has a good perspective of what millennials are thinking about.
Which is instant gratification. That's the only thing, and you're admitting it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
Why don't you buy some Mary Kay cosmetics?
We're
if
in
you really
instant
want
gratification too, though. Come on, man. You know, we dump on these poor guys, and we have the same things. We've just been doing them for years.
Yeah. See, I can't afford a $700 sat phone tomorrow, but you can. See, so you want them just as well, just as quick.
That's right.
Would you like one if I buy you one?
Of course, yeah.
That's our Christmas bonuses. Everybody gets a sat phone
Well, like
Very functional.
with business of life on the back of it, you know,
well, the
engraved.
quarterbacks in the NFL, they buy their linemen Rolex watches
Yeah,
and all
we're-
kinds of gifts.
We're opening the holes for you and letting you walk through, man. Give us our.
All right,
Yes.
let's take a break, and then, ladies and gentlemen, if you're
Oh,
driving
please.
your car, I'm asking you to pull over to the side of the road.
Or if it's driving itself for you.
That's not going to happen yet. We're
already happening.
Seriously?
It's happening, Coach. I just drove one. I did it.
Does he?
I
can
drove-
see on
I let it-
Highway 10.
I let it self-drive
I
me down
could
Van
drive on Highway 10 with the steering wheel between my knees. I've done it before.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Right.
I've done that before. But is he going to do this in traffic?
You can do it in traffic. It judges where you are. It slows down. It
Are you
changes.
so?
lanes.
Are you telling our national audience that you are pretty close to getting a Tesla?
I am. I'm gonna
There
say
you go,
right here
Cody.
and
There
there
you
today.
go. So
Pretty close.
yeah. So what are you gonna do with the M? You
keep
you never really liked the M.
No, I love the M. Don't get me wrong.
You don't drive it.
I love cars.
You don't.
I do
you love
drive it.
cars, but you don't love the M.
I switch back and forth
All
because of
right.
what mood I'm in.
Cody, prepare our audience, because when we come back from this break, Mr. Piccirillo, from his heart, from his soul, from his mind, from his mouth, he's going to express himself in a way that might irritate 50%. 50% of our audience.
Is that
might-
6 people? 6 people I'm going to offend today? 50% of our audience?
Jim, we're a national show on hometownstation.com,
I forget.
and we're in Southern California. God, you are in a bad
At
mood.
least
Oh.
8 Ukrainians. At least 8 Ukrainians.
Yeah.
are mad.
Yeah, where did we side? No, it was Armenia. Where's Armenia?
Let's go to break and come back with some Bob Dylan. How about that?
Nice.
We need a little protest music to get us back.
Let's go.
Come join me, Arif Halby, for Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. Every Tuesday at noon, we uncover ways to help you manage your money, get out of debt, and prepare for your retirement. That's every Tuesday at noon on Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. Are you not sure if you can retire yet? Listen to us and learn about tips for savings, retirement strategies, and so much more. That's every Tuesday at noon on Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour on your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS.
Drugs or alcohol abuse can tear a family apart. In Santa Clarita, just like everywhere else, it's an epidemic. The Way Out Recovery is here to help. Call them now at 296-4444 or visit them on the web at thewayoutrocoveryscv.com. The Way Out offers outpatient treatment for adolescents, adults, and family members. The Way Out is compassionate, caring, professional, and confidential. You and your family don't have to suffer any longer. Call the Way Out Recovery now, 296-4444, or visit thewayoutrocoveryscv.com and make an appointment. Asking for help is the first step.
Remember when Mom would bake cookies and you'd sneak some raw cookie dough? Raw cookie dough is the best, and now you can get safe-to-eat raw cookie dough at Delicious Sweets and Treats at the Westfield Town Center Mall. Delicious Sweets and Treats raw cookie dough comes in several flavors like birthday cake, sugar cookie, unicorn, and everyone's favorite, chocolate chip. Not into the raw stuff? No worries. You can also get freshly baked cookies or buy the dough to bake yourself. Delicious Sweets and Treats near JCPenney's in the mall.
If you're in danger of losing your home to foreclosure, you need an expert. Hi, I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty. I've helped hundreds of Santa Clarita residents save their homes completely for free. I've got just over 20 years experience and a loan modification success rate of over 80%. I can negotiate better terms with your bank and I can save your home from foreclosure. And again, we do this completely for free. So if you're in any danger, please call me today at 661-714-1400. That number again is 661-714-1400. 1400. I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty, and I'll be happy to help you save your home for free.
There's only one Santa Clarita plastic surgeon who is Yale trained and board certified, Dr. Justin Heller.
To be a board certified plastic surgeon like myself, what that truly entails is about 5 to 7 years of honed surgical training in reconstructive, all areas, as well as aesthetics, which means your facelifts, your breast augmentations, your body contouring, true training, and board certification. In fact, that's the only board certified area that can be achieved in this realm.
Dr. Justin Heller, warm, understanding, always available for guidance because he's local. HellerPlasticSurgery.com.
KHTS.
In 20 years, we fought against doing what we're going to do now, but I guess we're going to do it now. So, yeah, that's all right. Every 20 years, we'll just do this. So, most of you know I'm a conservative or independent conservative, not a Republican. I think the Republican, the Democrats are all a bunch of jokes. They don't do anything. They take our money. I mean, the local congressman gets paid $176,000 a year. He's got a staff, and what is he doing? I don't know. I don't know what.
Well,
he's
they're
doing.
supplementing their income with money from the
I wish he'd come-
NRA this week, aren't they?
I wish this is going to get started, ladies and gentlemen.
So you ask me, how do they make it on 176 grand? I'll tell you how.
Okay, tell me how.
What's
Well-
bugging Coach?
No, it's what's bugging Jim. So, a tragic day in the history of this country in Las Vegas. Tragic, so horrific. I can't even watch the news, read the newspaper. Many of our friends in Santa Clarita were injured. Some lost their lives. And Jim wants to make a comment about it, and I have to listen to him, and I have to respect what he has to say. And maybe I'm going to agree with him, and I'm not sure why I want to agree with him, but at some point, this has to stop, ladies and gentlemen. It has to stop. And this was one lone, deranged, what I call monster. And, Jim, what I can't stand is when the news shows his face. Why give this guy anything?
Well, I think people have to know what it is we're up against.
Really?
You know?
I don't need to see his face.
Yeah. Well, what do you just want to? You don't want to know any
Call him
information
the monster.
about it?
Call him what he was. Call him what he was. He was a dirt bag.
Let's go back a little bit though.
Let's go back.
How did we allow this guy to walk in, an average guy to walk into a gun store and buy automatic weapons, high-powered rifles? You know, this is the thing that I'm very angry about, and I think a lot of Americans are. And you said earlier, you know, I'm a Republican and you're a Democrat. This shouldn't even be a political issue. This is a common sense issue. The fact that we can't pass a common sense gun legislation in this country, with all the things that have happened in the last 5 to 10 years, look at the mass shootings. I mean, it's just sick. I don't get how everybody keeps standing behind the Second Amendment about the right to own guns. You have the right to own guns. I don't think you have the right to own automatic weapons and weapons of mass destruction like this. I mean, where's the common sense? Where, you know, how do you allow this guy or any guy to walk into a store, buy those kind of weapons, put them in a bag and walk in a hotel, 10 or 12 rifles? I mean, come on, there's got to be something done. And before I move on here, another thing I'm really tired of is congressmen and congresswomen texting their thoughts and prayers to the victims of mass shootings almost daily now, while accepting money from the NRA on a daily basis to push the NRA's agenda. It's wrong. It's wrong that money determines what kind of legislation and what kind of common sense laws come out of this. And if you don't see that, it's not a Republican or a Democrat thing. You know, like you said, this is now touching us here locally. You know, my wife knows one of the ladies that was shot the other day. My niece, who teaches school in Lancaster, one of her kids' mothers was shot. You know, this is getting close to home, and I guarantee you'd change your tune if it was one of your loved ones very close to you.
Well, they're fellow Americans as close to home to all of us. I mean, any time a horrific tragedy like this occurs, it affects all of us emotionally.
But how many times does it has to happen before something's done? I mean, listen to this. Las Vegas,
Dallas,
Dallas, Orlando, San Bernardino, Colorado Springs.
Jimmy, I get it.
How long does it have to go on?
I get it. I'm not, and I don't want to disagree with you, but let me. How do you prevent? And I wish we had a psychiatrist. Maybe in the next month we'll get a psychiatrist on here, because how do you stop this guy? We talked about it at lunch. It wasn't random. This guy rented this room for 3 days. He built a platform in here. So what kind of deranged individual with premeditation to destroy lives and families, thousands of lives and families, what kind of monster, deranged individual is this? And so my question to you, my dear friend, is how do we stop? How do we find these people? Apparently this guy was a real estate investor, owned houses. Everybody that knew him said this is impossible. So we hear this all the time.
Over and over.
Over and over. So your point is well taken, and I have to support it, and that is, why does an individual need 20 assault rifles or 20 machine guns or 20 killing devices? Why does I have guns in my home.
Let me just ask you this. So you said it's premeditated. We know that. He goes into the hotel room. He builds platforms. He gets all this stuff ready. If we had stopped the access to those kind of guns, do you think he could have taken a shotgun from 400 yards away and killed that many people? Could he done it with a handgun? No. But he can do it because he has access to high-powered rifles, automatic weapons. I mean, he just mowed them down like sheep in a field. I mean, it could not have happened had he not had access to those guns. I'm not talking about just keeping guns away from the crazy people. Nobody needs guns like that. There's nothing wrong with buying hunting rifles and handguns to protect yourself and your loved ones at your home. No one needs an assault rifle. I just do not. There's no logic. You can't even show me anything that makes that logical to me. I don't get it.
Sitting here, I don't have a good argument today. Here's what's going to happen. Hotel chains are now going to put in these metal detection devices. How he got these guns up to his room, once you stay in more hotels now than I do, so once you check in, you're basically on your own to do anything. Nobody's checking you, right? I mean, so I don't know how he carried these things. I don't know, but hotels are going to now have to go.
Why are we putting it on the hotel? We always try to find all these other things.
I understand.
It's the access to the guns. Stop the access to the guns and the ammunition. You won't have to worry about detectors and hotels and stuff.
Well,
let's stop it at the point of access. That's really it.
So this is the most horrific crime in the history of this country, but Sandy Hook was equally as horrific. So if these dumb congresspeople and senators couldn't do anything after Sandy Hook, where children were massacred, how in the hell are they going to do anything now?
I don't know, but one of the bills that was coming up this week and still may come up is the legalization of silencers. Now think if this guy had silencers on all those weapons and he's firing into a crowd with loud music playing, people would have been, as they were, just dropping crazily. No one had even heard it. So, again, why do you need a silencer? I read yesterday, because it hurts hunters' ears to fire their rifles. They need silencers, right? Okay, if they only make silencers that fit hunting rifles,
seriously, that's why
I'm all for it.
That's why
if they make silencers for assault rifles and automatic weapons, what is the use of that? Again, these weapons were made to kill people. They were not made to hunt. They were not made for any other use but to kill people, and large numbers of people. And that bill's coming up this week. Think about that.
I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm listening to you, and I know you're speaking from your heart, and I know you really, really care, and so do I. So I don't have a good argument against people owning 20 machine guns. I know the police departments around the country.
But why don't you have a good argument? As a common sense person, as a guy, a father,
because
a grandfather.
I'm affected.
Why is it so hard to wrap your head around? We've got to stop these people from getting these guns. Why don't we close the loopholes? Let's close the gun show loopholes.
So the right-wing extremist constitutionalists, and I consider myself a constitutionalist, but I'm not a right-wing extremist, they're going to go to the Second Amendment. So let's talk about the Second Amendment for a second. When the Founding Fathers put this amendment in, there were pistols that shot, little pellets?
Yeah, they were one load at a time. You shoot once,
right.
You reload, you put the powder in. And it takes 2 minutes to get another shot off.
Correct. And the whole concept of the Second Amendment was for there to be a militia, because remember, when the country was formed, Britain and so-called U.S. citizens were living side by side. So we didn't have an army. So the Second Amendment was to allow citizens to protect themselves against the British.
The right to bear arms. Look, I totally believe in all the amendments, but
the British is over in their.
It's an amendment. That's why it's an amendment. Things change. As things change, you write another amendment.
Cody, where's the British? Aren't they at their own home country right now?
I believe they'd be in England.
Yeah, in England. They're in England, Jim. They're not coming over here any. I'm talking.
Do you think England has a gun problem that we have?
No, but
nobody in the world has a gun problem.
I'm talking
like
to my
have.
right-wing extremists that have probably turned off the show by now. So you make very good points. It's 2017. We have to figure this out. We can't continue to have these horrific crimes. And how did this guy get access?
Let me read you just 2 or 3 quick facts. And this is from Vox today.
From Fox?
Vox.
You're reading news from Fox?
Vox, VOX. Okay, listen. Here's one of their stats. America has 6 times as many firearm homicides as Canada and nearly 16 times as many as Germany. Think about that. And here's one that blows my mind. America has 4% of the world's population, but we own over half of the civilian-owned guns in the world.
Well, this goes
What does that tell you?
I don't know what it tells me. This goes back to our founding fathers. This goes back to generations and generations of... Remember, we live in California, so the middle of the country, we don't understand the culture of Kansas or Iowa. There's a different culture in about 40 states. So those representatives that are in Congress have been fighting to keep the cultures of the Midwest, the South.
Has nothing to do with that.
Oh, yes, it does. I'm sorry, my dear friend.
People in Kansas and the Midwest are just like you and me. They have values and morals.
Well, of course they do.
It's all about,
but
listen,
they're more
it's about money. It's about, it's money driven. Gun sales, automatic weapons, ammunition. They falsely raise and lower the cost of ammunition. They make people think we're running out of ammunition, so you better go hoard and buy thousands of rounds. It's about money, Coach. If you think it's about something else.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Look how much the NRA lobbyists put into Washington's pockets. I mean, just look at the amount of money. It's staggering.
You're not going to get an argument out of me.
Look at the list yesterday of Republican congressmen and how much money they've taken. There was a list yesterday. There was a big list of how much money they've all gotten over the last couple of years from the NRA. How are they going to vote when they get in there and they've been taking all this money? That's wrong. You shouldn't be paid for your vote.
Jim, I agree 100%. Truthfully, and I've said it before, you have 435 nitwits in Congress and 100 nitwits in the United States Senate. Get rid of them all and vote in 535 Mary Kay representatives. They would do a better job of representing this country than the nitwits that are in there now.
I believe it, but where are you going to,
Or a combination of...
I'm sure everyone that goes to Washington probably somewhere in the back of their mind says, I'm going to be different. I'm going to have a different message. I'm going to do a different job. I was elected to do the right thing. And they get there and you get caught up in all this.
Peer group pressure. You get in there
start waving money under your nose.
Yeah, exactly. You get in. And that's what irritates me about our local congressman. I've called his office. I've called Steve Knight's office at least 10 times with a promise to call back every time. They've never called me back. Not once. And I said, look, I'm on radio. I want to give you a voice. I want to talk about these issues. One of them was health care. I'm a conservative that thinks we need to have a national health care policy. Why should families go bankrupt? Why should people who are born with pre-existing conditions, why should their families suffer? The job of the federal government is to protect its citizens. I'm off on a different rant right now. I'm sorry.
That's okay, but it's all tied into the same thing because, look, they don't really care. There's a reason why health care and gun control and all these issues are real hot buttons.
So
and they never really get down to the issues. All they do is politicize it and stick us. We're always fighting and arguing among ourselves because they make it a political issue.
Address this argument, please. Jim Pickerel and the Coaches Call the Business Life. This is our first political discussion in 20 years.
At least on the air. We have these all the time.
We do it all the time. Register your comment here. So if we take all of these assault rifles, change the laws, How do we get them off the streets? How do we get them out of your home? Do we make it a federal offense to own one? Because my concern.
Well, if we just stopped it right now,
time out.
There's still,
finish.
there's millions of guns in this world.
Right.
Even if you stop the access right now, there's nothing you can do. People are going to have guns for the hundreds of years to come.
Okay, well said. So my argument was the bad guys would have all the guns. That's the argument that you hear. That's the argument that you hear.
I'm so sick of that argument.
But it's fairly legitimate. The bad guys have all the guns now. I mean, look at Chicago. I love Chicago.
So quit selling the bad guys guns. Quit doing it.
They steal them, Jimmy. They steal them.
So what? You gotta start somewhere. Look, you gotta start somewhere with some common sense gun laws. That's all I'm saying. Common sense gun laws. Like just a common sense, you and I sitting down going, look, let's get these off the street. Let's stop the sale of high-powered ammunition. Let's stop the sale of assault rifles and automatic weapons. Let's just start there. Like I said, even if it stopped tomorrow, you're going to have millions of guns still available, still around. People are going to be stealing them. People are going to be using them for bad things. You can't stop bad people from doing bad things, as you always say.
Right. And I apologize.
But you can definitely stop the access. This guy didn't have guns up until recently. He just bought those guns recently. Right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. But
according to the news, he just bought these recently.
They had
the gun owner, the guy that sold him the guns, on the air yesterday. And the guy says, hey, he walks in the store, and we have these code words we say to each other when we think something ain't right. And none of us said any code words because he looked totally normal.
So do you.
So, no, but your argument is like, let's keep him out of the crazy people's hands. Crazy people don't look crazy when they're trying to buy a gun. Right?
You look normal.
Huh?
If
someone sold me a gun right now in the state I'm in, think about it. Got to stop it. Got to stop the access. Got to close the loopholes. Got to get these things out of people's hands or the access so easily.
It's a legitimate discussion. It needs to be had, and our politicians. It'll be interesting, Jim, to see. Look. Your guys on the left, Pelosi. What's your other guy, Schumer?
What's saying you guys and our guys? I mean, it's not a.
I don't have guys.
Game.
I don't have guys.
It has
I have
nothing
no
to do
guys.
with our team, your team.
I have no team.
Again,
No.
I
have no team.
Us.
I have no team. No team. The Oregon Ducks are my team, and we just lost our quarterback.
And you even got politics and football now. Think about that.
We do.
Yeah. Your guy, the president.
He's not my guy. Don't.
Your team.
Don't pin that on me. That is not my guy. No. Let me tell you something. I voted for a woman for president of the United States, and her first name was Ellen.
Ellen.
I voted for my wife.
Wrote in your wife's name.
So I vote on absentee ballot like you do, right? So I laid out the ballot on. This is true, Cody. I'd
give anything if your wife was president of the United States. I love your wife.
She'd make a great.
She's smart.
She is, and she's cute.
Liberal.
She's cute. She's liberal. She's cute. Can you imagine?
How the heck did she end up with you?
Nobody knows. The whole thing's a mystery. So, Cody, the ballot is on the kitchen table. This is all set up. I wanted her to see who I was going to vote for because she thought I was going to write in Donald Trump because I'm a conservative. And I told her I told her the whole time he's running, I'm not voting for him. There was something about him that bugged me. I can't tell you what it is right now, but there's something about him that bugged me. So I said, Elle, I'm going to vote for president of the United States right now. I want you to come over and watch. Ellen Tunick. And she's smiling just like you did. She gave me a big hug. That a boy, she said. You know what she calls me, right, Cody?
No, I don't.
The big hunk. My big hunk.
Good move by the big hunk then, right?
So did you get everything out? Because we're going to go to break.
It never ends. I mean, come on. But, yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for
We're going to come back. We're going to finish up the show and talk about chocolate. And chocolate, yeah. We're going to talk about chocolate. We'll be right back.
Pumpkins are back in Santa Clarita, just a short ride up Bouquet Canyon. Introducing the Gilchrist Farm Harvest Festival and Pumpkin Patch, with pumpkins, and more pumpkins. Open from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. daily in October, the festival is full of pony rides, farm animals, live entertainment, farm crafts, and pig races. Book your professional photo session in the Pumpkin Patch. Learn how to milk a goat, gather eggs, and best of all, pick your perfect Halloween pumpkin. Nostalgia's returned to Santa Clarita. It's now at Gilchrist Farm. GilchristFarm.com.
When you're looking for a midnight snack, sometimes fast food just doesn't cut it. Formerly Donut Inn, California Bakery and Cafe is now open 24/7, so you'll be able to find fresh donuts, danishes, bagels, all natural fruit juices, gourmet sandwiches, and much more at any hour. With elaborate cakes for any occasion, including weddings, baptisms, anniversaries, corporate events, or any special event. California Bakery and Cafe in Santa Clarita is open 24 hours to satisfy any craving, anytime. Call us 255-1254.
California Credit Union, the only credit union in Santa Clarita focused on our educational community. California Credit Union offers low rates on loans for personal and business services, along with financial services for teachers, students, staff, and families. Free checking and very low new and used auto loan rates.
California Credit Union, your personal credit union, located in the River Oak Shopping Center next to Target.
Visit us and open an account today. Insured by NCUA, an agency of the federal government.
Santa Clarita's hometown station, KHTS.
I want to give equal time if you're a Avon lady out there. I want to come on the show. I want to give equal time if you're a full of brush salesperson. I want to give you equal time. Who else knocks on our door?
Used to be an encyclopedia salesman.
Oh, yeah, World Book, if you're out there. I want to give you equal time. Also, I owe an apology because you are my favorite of all time, my waitresses at Denny's restaurant. I've always said I would send 535 Denny waitresses to Washington because they can fix problems.
That'd be awesome.
But now I'm saying let's send
they're good
half.
Listeners.
They are good.
We need good listeners in Washington.
So let's send half Denny waitresses and the other half Mary Kay Cosmetics ladies, because they're quality people that know how to fix problems.
They'll be well fed and they'll look good.
Well, look at what Tracy's done with my face with this green goop that I put under my.
Man,
don't I look good?
And if you saw what she started with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is what Mary Kay can do to your face. I mean, I'm almost like what's his name that my wife likes, George Clooney, good looking.
Yeah. Almost.
Almost. All right, so our sponsor,
I was going to say George Hamilton, but whatever.
I never cared for him. There's something about him.
Old Leatherface?
Yeah. I don't know. There's something. I think he's too feminine, maybe.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Sorry, George.
Well, I just got kicked off the air, didn't I?
That's all right.
George Hamilton.
We've offended bigger and greater people than him.
We have.
Ever calling Pete Knight?
Yeah,
I heard you had his phone number.
I don't have his phone number.
Last little, you've been ranting on the guy for weeks, and we can't get a hold of him. You've called him every day.
Let's get him on the phone.
Yeah.
I'd like to get. I'd like to see what his.
What do you want to say to Pete Knight if you get him on the phone? You've called him all these times. You've written to him, and no response. What would you say if you got him on the phone right now? What's the deal?
Okay, you live in Palmdale, Lancaster. Why don't you get your butt over here to Santa Clarita and let's have some opportunity to meet you.
He represents us too.
When?
Well, I mean, he theoretically
he should go,
represents us too.
Why doesn't he go to find out what the real world is doing? He goes and has these house parties. What do they call? Where he stands up in front of people and tells us.
We have 4 minutes.
Town hall?
Yeah, town hall. Thanks, Cody.
Yeah, but he holds them at 6 a.m. in the morning when nobody can get there.
Thank you.
Come on.
Or midnight.
Yeah.
Why don't you go to like 30 Starbucks and listen to real world people?
Yeah.
Talk to you.
I like that.
You do like that, don't you?
But somehow
why doesn't he come on our show?
But he keeps getting elected, so somebody likes
he's only
this
been
guy.
elected once. The Dems are going to throw like $10 million to get him out of office.
Katie Hill.
I don't think it's Katie Hill. I think it's somebody
Katie
else. I don't know. Is this his number? Let's call him. 661. I can give it out. It's a public number, right? Let's call him.
No, I wouldn't do that over the air. Just have him call it.
Why? All right, you call
you know what? It's his private cell phone. You can give his public number out. You can do anything.
You know
It doesn't
what?
matter.
I'm going to call him on my cell phone after the show. Is it okay if I invite him to come on the air next week?
I'd love to have him on here. Are you kidding?
Okay, I'm doing it. All right, so we only have a couple of minutes left. I'm prayerful. I pray probably 20 times a day. I believe in God. And so my wife asked me last night, she says, well, I know you're prayerful. I know you believe in God. How is God involved in this? I said, God is not involved in this, Al. I said, God gives us free will. And I said, I know for a fact that God could care less about weather or sports And stuff like this, God has nothing to do with. And I told her last night, God's crying too, Jim. God's crying too. This is a tragedy that's just out of proportion to anything that could happen in this country. We are a great people. And did you see the lines of people standing in line to give blood yesterday? Doesn't that give you hope? Honestly,
it's awesome. You know,
it is awesome.
And even there at the venue during the height of the crisis, I mean, average people were helping their fellow man. They were carrying them and getting them to the hospital and stopping their wounds from bleeding.
We are a great people. We are a great people. We have to continue to believe in our greatness. Each one of us has greatness inside of us, and it comes out in different times in different ways.
That's right.
And it came out in the best ways yesterday for a lot of reasons. Just what you said, first responders, people standing there and helping their fellow man, people standing for hours, 3.5, 4 hours to give blood.
They say the SWAT team got to the shooter within 20 minutes, and they're saying that was the most professional police response in a crisis that this country has seen. So,
there you go. There you
know,
go. The
hats off to the Vegas PD.
You realize when you give blood, it's almost an hour and a half. So think about how many people.
Well, you got an hour and a half if you didn't stop at the. Oh, never mind.
Never
Fast
mind.
food restaurant.
Never mind. Hey, next week I'm going to try to get Pete Knight on. I don't know what we're going to accomplish, but
let's invite him right now.
We are inviting
Steve
him.
Knight.
I'm going to call.
Pete Knight's his dad, I guess. I don't know.
Is that your dad?
Not
no,
my
your
dad.
last name's Como, right?
Correct.
Oh, Perry Como. Look at him. Is that not a Perry Como look-alike?
He really is. I could dig out my old Perry Como sweater from 6th grade.
Why
He'd
don't
look
you
good
wear
in
a
that
sweater
thing, man.
next week when you come in the studio? I'm serious.
I had a whole series
Weather
of those.
permitting, I will.
Yeah, Perry. Can we call you Perry?
You know.
What's your first name? Cody?
He has no idea who Perry Como is. He doesn't know what you're even
He
talking
doesn't have a clue. What's your middle name, Cody?
I've heard of him. It'd be James.
James, his middle name? Cody James Perry Como. No, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We're honored that you would even take a second to listen to the show. See you next week, 1 o'clock, Tuesdays.
Adios, folks.